I'm totally out of sorts right now.
It's 6:30. We're going to
Just 2 minutes prior.
Ready?
Yeah.
Call to order the meeting of the City of Kearney Park and Tree Board. Thursday, June 22nd, 2023. Have you taken roll, Eric?
I have, everyone is present except Julie.
Has everyone had a chance to read the minutes from the May 16th meeting? Anybody have any questions, concerns? I need a motion to approve the minutes.
I move we approve the minutes.
Second,
I'll second.
all in favor?
Aye.
One opposed? Minutes are approved. Public requests and petitions.
Shannon Bond is here on behalf of talking about the Fishing River Nature Trail. So with that, Shannon, and there's some info in your agenda packet. But before you start, Shannon, I just need your address for the record, please.
807 Blackberry Circle, Kearney, Missouri.
Perfect. It's all yours.
All right, well, I will start, and I have notes. I have a presentation, but I don't think we have a way to display it, so I'm just going to use them as notes on my phone. So we'll start that out. So my name is Shannon Bond. I'm a local resident. We also own the regular Joe paper, so we're basing that out of here in Kearney now. So it's originally a paper that started in St. Joseph, Missouri, operated for about 12 years. Pandemic slowdown, right? So especially for print publications. So they paused it and then they came back and said, hey, do you want to start it back up? And we're like, sure, we'll take it over, but we're going to make it regional instead. So we've been doing that for about a year and we want to be involved. I'm an avid, some would say fanatical cyclist and bike rider, and I love trails. And I think trails bring a lot to the community, right? So not only do people enjoy getting out on the trails, and they use our trails a lot, right? Especially that 5 mile loop constantly, right? But it helps real estate value all the way down the board, right? So I was thinking about the Fishing River trails, and I often ride and bike them. The single track that was put in, off-road trails, right? And somebody put a lot of work into those trails at one time. They're just they just need a little help right now. So there's some bridges that need repaired. And also trim work. So typically in a trail situation, I'm not sure how familiar you guys are with the other trail associations in the KC metro area. So the Trail Masons and Earth Riders and all those, they organize all the volunteer networks. I know you are. They organize all the volunteer networks and sponsorships and things like that to get all the trimming done and take care of those trails. So I would like to propose that we do something like that in Kearney and start with the Fishing River Trail. That's a great little segment. And I can share this PowerPoint here, but if you guys can see, I'll just kind of show you. I've got the trails mapped. I've Garmined it multiple times. There's a little heart-shaped trail segment too, which is amazing to ride. So I've mapped it, wrote it. My daughter, we've gone out and trimmed it and things like that, but I'd really like permission ultimately to organize some official support for it. And I've got a slide for that that I will share. But ultimately, I've come up with some goals. So initially, our 2023 goals would be monthly trimming. So to organize monthly trimming, right? So volunteer work, local business sponsors, things like that. So you have your monthly trimming. We have to build one bridge. It needs a bridge build. So there is a gap right now. So one small bridge. It needs a bridge repair, and then there are fallen trees. So we need to chainsaw out some trees. And then I would love to create signs. So to make it official, we need trailhead signs, and then we need 3 trailhead signs and at least 3 trail signs when you're out there. So we'll need the trail hardware and things like that. And I can volunteer regular Joe. We can design those and do a lot of that type of work, right? So we would want to put those trail signs in there to make it official. So that would be the 2023 plans. And then future planning, we need a little bench cutting. There's a section here, and in the display here, you can see that little section I've mapped. There are great trails over here. It's part of the same system and you can hike them, but it's a little sketchy, right? But if we could get some volunteers in here, we could bench cut that trail and make it a little more manageable for hikers and bikers and connect them. But that would be in the future. Right now, let's just get them up to speed. So organizing partners. So how does all of this happen, right? So we have to think about our organizing opportunities and our partners, right? So I've reached out to some people and we write, so back to the regular Joe, we are all focused. Our brand is local businesses. So if you saw our issue last quarter that's out now, we wrote it on Advantage Martial Arts, right? She's fantastic. Master Phillips out there, does a lot for the kids, a lot for the community, things like that. So I talked to her really quick, right? So we did a feature on it, and I'm like, hey, I want to get these trails up. So she has volunteered some time, right? So she can have her black belts organize some volunteer time for some trail training and things like that. Eric's bike shop down in Liberty. So I take some bikes there quite a bit, especially when I break things or I want to upgrade things, right? So they're awesome. So the manager there has said he will help us organize, and he's from Kearney, right? It's always about making connections. So he said he would come up personally and help us trim and then advertise for us and get some volunteer work in, right, at Eric's bike shop. And then, of course, we have the local social media, and I've talked to some local riders. They're all for it. So I've got at least 3 or 4 other volunteers that would go monthly, right? Just for the trimming. The trimming takes a lot. I know you guys have probably done trail maintenance, right? So it takes a lot of trimming to get it done. Possibles in the future. We have the regional Girl Scouts, right? So my wife is one of the Girl Scout leaders. Well, she's the Girl Scout leader for Kearney, but she works with regional folks. We could organize with them. I haven't reached out, but it's a possibility. And then also you have the regional Boy Scouts, of course, and then your local hardware stores and things like that, and local sponsors, right? So that brings me, that's the how, right? There's the what, there's the how, and then that brings me to the needs, right? So what do we need to make this happen? I always underestimate work. So I have my folks really keep an eye on me so I don't take on too much. So we really need to organize this, right? So needs, we need some equipment. We need about 3 trimmers, a chainsaw, and some sign hardware. That's the equipment that we need, right? And I priced it, and I have a list. And again, if you're interested, I can send that to you. And I propose that we use electric, all electric, less maintenance. There's no gas, there's no oil, there's just no maintenance really. So some ego trimmers and an ego chainsaw, right? What we need besides equipment is 1, permission to organize volunteers and maintain the trails, right? I don't want to just go out there haphazardly and do it. So that's why I'm proposing to you all that we make this official and I can get a volunteer group together. And then 2, to create and install the trail signs and what that would look like. One of the things we can volunteer is sign design. That's easy. I can just have my company do that. We can do the design. And then we'd really like to put our sponsors on there, local businesses, get them involved, get the community involved, right? So on the signs, we can put their logos, whoever donates and wants to be a sponsor. And then we have to talk about release forms and things like that. So if we go to the last slide, if I could have this up, it would be a needs, permission, and question slide, right? So in the needs column, let's tally up all of that equipment. And I'm not asking for all of this money. I'm gonna, if I get permission to, I'm gonna try to organize sponsors. I'm gonna get some local business sponsors, see what they'll donate, see if anybody will donate trimmers and lumber and things like that. And I bet they will. Also, I can have my company donate as well. So, but in general, 3 ego weed eaters, 1 ego chainsaw, sign hardware and lumber for bridges would come out to about $1,646, right? So I think we can get a majority of that, or at least a substantial amount of that, by organizing, right? Because there is interest. People love trails. As you drive up I-35 right now, I was talking to some other community leaders. I don't know if you've seen it, but as you're going up north, you see a giant billboard from Cameron, and it's all about the trails. There's a giant billboard that advertised, come to Cameron and experience our trails. I love Cameron, but come on, man, we have great trails here too. And we have the trails up north and we have the fishing river. This is what we can do. So that's the equipment needs. On the permission column of our needs, permission and questions, is to organize volunteers and maintenance and to create and install trail signs. So regular Joe can design them. And I'd really like to get sign off to put sponsors on there. So local business sponsors, right? That shows that cohesive there. So I have a list of questions for you and I can send them to you. Question number 1. Can the city maintain trails in any way? Trimming, log cutting, or building bridges? I don't know what your budget or staff is like or anything like that. Maybe that's not possible. Maybe it needs to be all volunteer. That's great. That's fine too. But if there was capability, does the city have capacity to do that? I was riding St. Joe's trails not too long ago, and it just occurred to me because St. Joseph on their new River Bluff trails, they have the city maintain those, and then all of the other trail systems are maintained by volunteer groups, and they've formed a nonprofit to format those. So I don't know if there's interest or resources there, and either way is okay, but it's a question I wanted to ask. 2, can the city help with funding on equipment, right? So all of those types of things. I've already bought one weed eater as in anticipating that we can get this done and taking my daughter out, and we've had some weed eater parties out there. We have one, but can you guys help to buy any of the other equipment, the chainsaws or the trimmers? Those are the big things. That's the monthly expense, right? And then if we do that, if we do get permission, where and how will the equipment be maintained and housed? I'm okay doing it, but I don't want to necessarily say, I'll do it all, but whatever you guys decide, as long as we have access to it, not a problem. Question number 4, release forms and or parameters for volunteer work. If we want to talk about the legality. So in real life, I work at a very large agency and we're very, very conscious of lots and lots of rules and laws, right? So my regular Joe is a side job. That's just a business we do on the side. So in the real world, I'm very, very conscious of that. So we would have to talk about that. There may not be anything there. Most trail organizations don't. They just have volunteers and they go out and get the work done. And then question number 5, can we, again, back to the signs, if we do get permission, is it okay to include those business sponsors and kind of build that coalition and put them on the signs and have them participate, right? And once you get these up, we can start having events there. We can, advertise things like that a little bit and then see where it goes, grow the trails from there. So that's it in a nutshell. What do you think? I don't have anything on screen, but I can point at my phone.
We have your.
You have,
Yeah.
you sent it out?
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic. Good job.
Yeah.
So that's great. Yep. Awesome.
I can tell you just a couple of things. When you're saying equipment and things of that nature, municipalities are a lot different than private organizations.
Mhm.
We can't loan equipment out, buy equipment out, and have someone use it.
Okay.
So we've had people say, hey, the school's different because they're not a political subdivision. So we share their equipment a couple of times a year and they share ours. As far as private, we can't, it's not allowed. It's not
Gotcha.
allowed.
Yep, that makes sense.
What we have done in the past when this first came about is because our staff is 3.
Yeah,
Right.
2/3 of the park staff is in this room.
Right.
So probably not gonna maintain them then. We're right,
Completely full the way we are.
for sure.
We'd love to.
Yeah.
Really, if we start with our new leadership and starting next year, we're trying to get another person on staff full time and hopefully continue to do that. We have 2 summer helpers that we have limited hours that they work and they're gonna be done at the end of July. But what we have done in the past, when Dr. Nicely did this, is we had bought lumber.
Mhm.
And we bought those big cables to help connect it so they don't wash all the way down and things of that. That's something we can look at. So if you get us some information on the price of your lumber, because it is on city property and our city property goes all the way to, it's 50 feet from the center line of the railroad bed towards the trail side.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Yep.
So the center line of the, to 50 feet east, after the 50 feet, then it's city property. Okay.
Gotcha.
But what I'm saying is, Dr. Nicely and Jim Eldridge worked this out way back when, and they said they take care of it. And now Dr. Nicely is gone.
Right.
Christy came to Ryan and I and said, is there anything we can do? We're under new leadership. We're going to talk with the attorney on waivers because people doing work on city property will have to make sure all that's on the up and up. As far as insurance, I don't know if you can be bound by our insurance or not.
Right.
I don't know.
Yep.
So that's the thing with, which ties back into the equipment. We can't let you use any of our equipment because if something would happen using the equipment, everybody, whether you like it or not, is so happy.
Sure.
We
Yeah,
can't
liability.
even store it because it becomes de facto our equipment when we store it, believe it or not.
Yeah. No, I believe.
That's
Yeah.
an actual thing we found.
So
Yeah. So to frame this, if I've got it correctly, so you were going to talk to general counsel,
Mhm.
and then talk to folks about authorizing some volunteer work.
Yeah,
And then if that is a go, you may be able to fund lumber and sign hardware, maybe,
possibly.
possibly. Okay.
I would say because we've done it in the past,
Mhm.
I don't see why we can't do it again.
Okay. Yep.
As
Um,
far as, I don't know.
Go ahead, Brian.
As far as private sponsors and all and signage goes, I don't think we're gonna have any problems with that.
I don't
whatsoever.
think, we'll talk, because.
I mean,
it's
we'd
city
like to look
property.
at it before you
Yeah.
put it up.
Sure.
But I mean, other than that, I don't think there's gonna be an issue at all. We do sponsorship with a lot of stuff, parks related and. It's just the way of life, so.
Right. Right.
Can he find sponsors for the trail? And he collect the money and use the money to buy the equipment? Can he do that, or is that?
I'm gonna ask all these
Yeah,
questions.
that is definitely a question for.
Because
We are not, but we could. So that would be my next step if we needed to form that.
It'd be a lot
Yeah.
cleaner.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. And I assume that that's why like the St. Joe organizations formed theirs,
I'm sure,
right?
yeah,
So-
so that way you're not just writing a check to Shannon.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yep, and we could do that. If the answer comes back from them, hey, we don't want to just have a volunteer organization, you need to be a nonprofit.
Yeah,
Then we'll look at that and we'll do that and we'll form that up. And we've got great resources here locally. We'll go talk to Kurt and say, hey, let's
Yeah.
form this up.
It's
Yeah.
just a different animal with.
Yeah.
A municipality and funds and things of that nature.
For
But
sure.
if it's for something that's going on, that we can provide for a nature trail, like I said, the lumber and those, big straps and things of that nature. We can, try and work with you as much as we possibly can to take care of that portion, like for your bridges or whatever you need,
Mhm.
on stuff like that. I would just need to know what you need. You can email me. We do business with Porters and get the lumber right here in town. That way it stays, our money as much as possible stays right here in town.
Yeah, for sure.
And then we would go get that. We, get that delivered to you.
arrange it somehow, yeah.
Yeah,
So
drop it at the trailhead and we can just have a day and get it back there.
I don't like dropping things there because you'd be surprised what walks over.
Right. Well, I mean,
We
on a
would
build
say,
day though.
hey,
Yeah,
we can meet you, pick it up and,
sure.
We can figure that out.
yeah,
Sure.
we'll figure that out.
Yeah.
We don't want to just drop it there.
So you think the likelihood is good though?
I do.
Yes,
It's
For
okay.
lumber,
Absolutely.
absolutely.
Okay, and the likelihood of getting permission to organize and get volunteers and
Yeah,
is good?
I'm gonna talk with the attorney because
We have new attorneys too.
Oh,
Everything's
absolutely.
new.
Everything.
Yep.
so we want to make sure that it's by the book. So we don't get in trouble
That's right.
and you guys don't get in trouble.
Yeah,
And we don't want to cause any liability towards the city and so on and so forth.
right, for sure. So the question would be waiver structure and then if we need to form a nonprofit.
Mhm.
Right.
Those are the
Right.
two variables.
I
Really quick, when once we find this out,
Mhm.
and I get you some answers. If you let us know on the lumber,
Mhm.
what you're needing, because the Boy Scouts did some, in the old park, they did, footbridges over in, Lions Park before we totally demolished that. But one bridge is still there. We try and help you do whatever we can.
That's great. That's awesome. Yeah, we just need maybe permission and we'll send some resources and then we'll take off and start organizing.
Perfect.
Interest is there.
How many miles is this trail?
Right now I'd have to look at my Garmin again, but it's about 2.5, 3
And
miles.
is there any connectivity to other trails on this one?
Not yet, but there could be. So future development, I didn't want to go too far and scare
Right, but
everybody.
there is.
There could be, there's potential for some really great development. Yeah,
Like a through city property and nothing
That's right.
private really.
that's right. That's exactly right. All along Fishing River Trail, there's so much undeveloped. You could just
Right.
really, yeah,
And many years ago, I had heard that the Katy Trail was gonna come up to Kansas City and
It
I don't know
did.
where it is and
It
all
did.
that, but there was some railroad stuff and
Yep.
there was some thoughts about it doing a circle like around 435 or something and then go, I mean, you could take the thing to St. Louis if you wanted to.
Right, I have. It's
So
awesome.
it is
Yeah.
getting closer to, this was many years ago than it was.
Yep, it reached Lee Summit, I think. Yeah, we've ridden from there to St. Louis, sleeping under bridges and things.
Yeah.
Like Arrowhead, all the way down
Did you?
the Rock Island Trail.
Yeah, that's
And then you
awesome.
hook into the Katy
That'd be getting
Trail.
good.
Yeah,
And
it
then,
is
uh,
fantastic.
Instead of inventing, and I've heard it a couple of times, your wife, you said with the Girl Scouts, but the Boy Scout, that Charlie Brown, could he not be a good contact for, where he's the one that's staying out there at the Jesse James once or twice a year and such, so
Awesome.
could this,
We've
could this
definitely
be a
got some good
potential for
contacts
them
with
to
BSA.
be the 501c? Could they, could 50, an existing 501c really adopt this plan and take off running with it?
I don't, they would be then responsible for.
I don't know how willing they would be legally to take on that
If
responsibility.
you've got a group and
Um,
on that, but let us ask first if you have to.
Okay,
Right,
If you don't have to, you don't have to, because in the past, it was done by Nicely and a small group of his volunteers that went out and did that.
right.
And we just need to see if, hey, can they continue this since Nicely is gone? They've got volunteers. Do we need to get waivers? And blah, blah,
Right, can we
blah?
handle it with waivers? If we
Right.
can handle it with
He's
waivers,
getting money
great.
from businesses to him,
I think
He's gonna
it's a
have
lot
to do
cleaner if you have a
Yeah.
501 in that
Yeah.
situation.
Yeah,
because
that's
then,
fair.
because then now you got income coming in. Now
That'll have to
technically
be
you could be
accounted
taxed
for.
on it
Yeah.
if you did have a 501c3.
That's true. Yeah,
And then you have to file all that, so if you're actually collecting money from other businesses, I would think that you would have to have a 501.
yeah. That's a fair point too, because there's no organization to manage it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to be on the hook, but yeah, let's find out the answers to the question. I love that you guys are willing. I love the interest and yeah.
Do we need a motion of support or anything like that, or?
That would be, we would need a motion of support, and to have city staff check with, the administrator and our attorneys on, what all we can do as a city. So a motion of support with that type of thing.
Alright, so we need a motion of support
Yes,
and for city staff to continue investigating what needs to be done in order to make this happen.
correct.
I'll make that motion.
Okay.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries.
So was
You may
Dan
proceed.
and Greg.
Yes.
Carries it.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah.
Thanks for
Thank you.
having me. I
That's
really
exciting.
appreciate it.
Would you send me your PowerPoint?
Mhm.
Just email it to Ryan and I,
Okay.
and Ryan, you got a quick card real quick?
Yeah, I do, if I can squeeze it out, sorry.
Yeah, that's great. This is, I mean, I see people in the fall and the spring on the trails, but once it grows in, nobody uses it because it's overgrown.
Right.
So it's exciting to get.
I've been down
Yeah.
there twice and had a
Yeah.
walk my truck out.
Isn't it awesome? But yeah,
Yeah.
it could be awesome. You could make it super flowy, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So I've talked to local bikers too that are like, oh yeah, I'll come down. So.
What happened to the sign that was there? I think there used to be a
Oh, got it.
sign.
There used to
What?
be two signs.
What happened to them?
Well, there you go.
Okay, I just didn't know.
They just
They were
disappeared one day.
intentionally
They
taken
just-
down.
Gone.
It wasn't taken them by us.
Yeah, okay. Just
Tyler
curious.
take 'em out?
What?
Did Siler take them out?
No.
It's on the other
No,
side.
fine, I'm fine.
We'll get the big signs, with the covers and stuff, like the wooden ones with they're not, I priced them. I have prices. I'll send to you for hardware. Yeah, it's like $300. And then it's like, there's no way getting it out because you're gonna.
Oh, there's always a way.
Well, I suppose. If you come out,
Well,
yeah, you can come out and, chop it down, but it would be a lot harder if we make it, solid, so. All right,
All right.
well, oh my gosh, I appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Thank
you.
Nice meeting you.
All right, you as well.
All
And I
right,
know you bike a lot. If you ever see, because we don't get down there every day, we at least get down there twice a week because we change out food bags.
Oh, right.
But some people have put rock underneath the bridge, and when the light shines, just right, you can't see it and people have crashed.
Oh, no.
That's what we're talking about, vandalism and things of that. And then at one point, someone put a rope across
Oh, no, I ride with my kids all the time. We have that, I
Yeah.
don't know if you've seen us, but we're like that land barge that rides around with the tandem with the tag along. I've got the 4-year-old on the tag along and the two of us are on the,
So if that ever happens, please call us right
oh,
away.
we will. I'll take pictures and send them to you and call you.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. All
Okay,
right. Well, thank you all so
Thank you.
much.
Thank you.
All right.
Nice to meet you.
Have a great night. You as well.
So who created that trail initially?
Dr. Nicely.
He created that and then maintained it.
You said there was someone else named Miller. Like, he said it was like an 80 or 90.
Was there?
Yeah.
Named Miller. who-
Jim always said it was Dr. Nicely that did that.
it was an elderly gentleman that
Yeah,
did a lot of it.
I think there were maybe some scouts who worked on it at one
Yeah.
point. And
Well, I know he got a group of scouts, when they were doing the 2 bridges, and that's, we donated it to the quote, the scouts, and, they did that, for part of a project that they did, and, we donated all the lumber, and so it's good if we can help out doing, cause lumber is not cheap. If we can help out as much, whatever we can do, we will try and do. So.
All right. Moving on to old business, aquatic update.
We will be having our second public input meeting on July 25th. It has not been announced, but,
Where's that
It
on?
just
it
was.
just was, but that's okay.
Do we have a location yet?
It will be at the same, place at the high school commons from 5:30 to 7. And we will be having updates with, probably via Zoom with, Lauren Osborne, because they're in the cost phase right now. With a couple of 3 different plans, and then, we'll be discussing all this. And they'll start doing concepts and things of that nature. That way, at that meeting, everything is there. She's going to be updating the website, on results of the survey and things of that nature, like on a slideshow to let people know what, the majority of the survey results were
When will that be coming out?
Soon.
soon.
We were just talking about it today, so
Yeah,
I would expect next week probably.
yeah, I would.
Is that to the public or just to
Yeah.
us or?
That's
To the public, yeah, it will.
public, yeah, it's going on the public website.
Okay,
Yes. So basically, that's where we are on, the aquatic, because once we start going down these steps, and we get to final concept drawing, she'll come to us, based on what we think, what you guys think. And then it will go to final concept drawing to the Board of Aldermen, and then they'll decide whether they want to put it on the ballot for April 24th and all the tweaks in between here in December. I mean, things now with the Aquatic Center are going to start happening very fast. So, Brian, if you want to add anything to that.
No, I'm just excited to eventually whittle it down to one option and put that option on a ballot and see what happens.
So.
All right, pickleball skate park.
We have just a couple of items that need to be done out there. We did a punch list walkthrough. Some caulking needs to be done. The windscreens go up tomorrow morning, first thing. We got that notification today. And then one other thing, I can't remember. Oh, gates. It's the gates. The Dan's Fence Company needs to come back out and adjust some gates, because they don't, they're just gonna start scratching, and it's brand new, and we're not gonna allow that to happen. So those three things is what we need to work on. And then we'll have one pay application left, and then the final retainage. And we'll be discussing with staff on the deadline that is passed and how we're gonna handle that. And we'll keep you abreast of that, because they did not meet the deadline. So anyway, that's what I have for you on our pickleball skate park. I will say it's absolutely the use tax money. If there isn't anything that I don't know of, but that thing is being used and that's what the use tax is for. Mayor hit it on the head with that, and it's being used by not only the in-town people, the out-of-town people close to Kearney that aren't quote city residents, and other people from outside our state. So anyway, that's where we are. on
Busy
that.
as the splash pad on a hot day.
Not on a hot day, on a weekend, early mornings, and I guarantee it right now,
Yeah.
it's
hopping
as
right
busy.
now. Yeah.
as busy, and
Good,
that's good.
good.
Cool.
You got an update on Hall Park?
I have well, I can give you an update from about a month ago. We don't look for, and you at the meeting, he came, the Hall family came, and afterwards I gave him the update of the grant application. We're still in the grant application. It's basically at a standstill because they are a whole year, past a whole year behind.
At the federal level.
At the federal level. We sent our stuff into Jeff City, they forwarded it up to the National Park Service. And Patty said that three out of 15 that they've awarded for 2022, they're just so understaffed. So they're a whole year behind on getting that money to them.
They're telling us the earliest we'll hear anything is May of next year.
Oh, wow.
So
Yeah, that's how
they're
far out
behind.
they are.
Yeah, they're real behind.
Cause we called and we wanted an update, cause I knew Gary Hall was gonna be here and couldn't get him, but I talked with him about that. He said it's government, and they're just behind. It's nothing we can do about it.
All right, new business.
Rhino? Yeah, sure. So rec sports season, we're wrapping up our spring seasons, for youth sports. We had 600 kids, over 600 kids in our baseball, t-ball, softball, soccer. It's been a great season. Yeah, it's just been wonderful. We continue to grow at a little bit slower rate than we originally did last year. We really boomed last year, but we're still growing. We're looking forward to our summer pickleball sessions. We're going to be bringing on board some pickleball camps, and some clinics and that sort of thing as well. We're kind of in the process of interviewing a few potential candidates for doing those things. And so yeah, we're working on that right now. As far as the pickleball leagues, we have 9 divisions in our pickleball league, and we are up over 200 people already signed up for them. So this is going to be a real big deal in Kearney for, I think, a while.
Okay.
So yeah, we're going to continue to grow it, and it's a good problem to have. We've actually had to turn some people away from some of our divisions just because we're running 5 nights a week right now, or we're going to be, and there's only so much time that we can actually have divisions,
Cause we do want to still be able to have.
yeah, we have to be able to have some recreational play, and we are dedicating course to recreational play. Regardless, that's the nice thing about having 12 is we're able to do that. But it's going to be hopping all summer long, and we're super excited about it. Fall sports signups are going to start here really soon, probably next week. So we're just rocking and rolling.
Might let them know about what we're doing with Smithville and Platt.
We don't know that for sure.
Thinking.
We're potentially talking to Smithville and Platte City about maybe joining up on some of the sports that need help, like volleyball. Our volleyball's been in decline for a few years, mainly because our soccer has been growing so much. I've seen a lot of the names go from volleyball to soccer in the fall. And that's fine, but potentially working together on volleyball this coming fall. We're actually meeting next week on that.
Nothing's been decided.
Yeah, there's nothing decided at all.
But we didn't want it to be a shock if we start our leagues by the time we have a meeting and you guys didn't know anything of the
Mhm.
potential of it.
So yeah, what's on the table is potentially playing games in Kearney, Platte City and Smithville. So we'll just see. We have some stuff to navigate with that. Platte City is also looking to potentially come on board with our Kearney Smithville baseball league for next spring. So we're in discussions with that as well, what that might look like. Because, you know, we have to be conscious of the fact that it might not be a popular thing for Kearney parents to drive to Platte City to watch their kids play. How could we limit that to as few times as possible, that sort of thing? So scheduling would be really important, those types of scenarios. So we've got some stuff to figure out, but I'm optimistic about it.
Do we need that? I mean, we're twice the size of those cities now.
We do. Smithville is basically the same size as us as far as spring sports goes.
Okay.
We don't partner with them on our bigger sports like soccer or flag football, that sort of thing. The diamond sports, once you get into the older divisions, they definitely I'd say 10U and up definitely need to partner with someone or they're going to be playing.
And that's just a general decline in those sports too, though. Right?
Yeah, because they play travel then.
Yeah. Once you get older, especially in the diamond sports, recreation kind of goes by the wayside.
Yeah.
So we'll have, 3 to 4 teams, which you can totally run a league with 4 teams, but it's much better if you have 6, 8, 10, something like that.
Makes sense.
So it's more fun for everybody.
Yeah.
And it's been really successful. We've grown with that plan with Smithville. We've been working with them for what, 10 years now?
Something like
that. Yeah.
Mhm.
So it's been great. So yeah, that's rec sports. We're just rocking and rolling and I'm really excited about the future of rec sports in this town.
How'd you guys fundraiser do?
That was not a Parks and Rec thing. That was actually a separate deal.
It was for Parks.
It was for the Parks and Rec Scholarship Fund. Yeah. It went really, really well.
Good.
Yeah. So, but it was separate for legal reasons.
Then I legally didn't ask.
No, I mean, you can ask, it's just a legal thing that we couldn't do with the city.
It was made very clear.
So,
How's the scholarship program holding up?
very well right now. Yeah, we were able to put in about $1,800 just off that fundraiser.
That's great.
We've got,
yeah,
we're kind of talking
Really
to
good.
some private donors right now, about some, potentially great donations. So,
we don't want to turn away a child.
no,
That's right.
that's not gonna happen.
How many students have we helped this year? Can you just an approximate number?
We're close, so I anticipate we'll probably be in the neighborhood of 40 to 50 by the end of the year.
Mhm.
It'll grow in the fall for sure. Because it just has. So I would say 50 by the end of the year.
That's good.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. That's really,
And that's, it does take money to do that. So we are determined to find a way to make it work no matter what, and we're going to. So
Yeah.
even if I have to start knocking on doors, I'll come to your
But the
house.
businesses that have contributed,
Yeah.
I mean, we can't say enough.
Yeah.
The
People
Stereo
have really-
Alliance kicked in, many businesses.
Yeah, we've-
all across the city.
This whole thing's been really blessed since the inception, and we're just really glad that we're able to do it. So I'm not gonna turn kids away.
No.
that's great.
I don't, I'm just not, so. Amphitheater. We had our Shooting Star concert last Saturday, 17th. It looked like it was gonna rain all day long, all week long. We were just not in a great mood, and then that day, it turned out to be kind of hot, but other than that, really
Beautiful.
nice.
Beautiful.
Had about 800 people show up thereabouts. It was just a wonderful night. Everything went great. It's like it's supposed to be. We should just be able to do that every single time, right? So yeah, it just went wonderful. I don't have all the financials in yet, but it's looking decent. It's kind of looking like a break-even deal. So
And that's what
we'll take that.
Nice.
It's a winner.
Yeah. So July 3rd coming up. Got the fireworks going. We have Casey Group Therapy on the stage from 7:30 to 9:30. Just a real tight band. I think
Is
a lot
that
of people
Dean's
will like
band?
them. No,
No,
no. It's a guy named Terry. I can't think of his Terry. I can't think of his last name.
Adams.
Adams. That's it. Yeah, that's it.
and we're going to have inflatables like we do and free cotton candy until that runs out. That'll be from 4:30 to 8:30. I know the Knights will be out there. The Lions Club will be selling their concessions. And then Ice Baby will be over by the rodeo arena area. And they'll be selling theirs for a fee in that location. That way they don't compete with the other people. Hello, Mrs. De Benedetto.
Hi, Selah.
So that's where we are for the July 3rd fireworks celebration.
Be here before we know it.
Any competition for that date? Is there Smithville's or anybody?
Liberty is.
Liberty's the same, but that's, yeah.
Is doing theirs.
I don't think it's gonna make much of a difference.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah, we're not.
it's good it's on the 3rd.
We're not really worried about it. That park will be packed as it always is.
I think so.
Yeah. There's, it's always a nightmare.
Isn't Bill
Yeah.
shoot his the same?
That's good.
Yes.
Bill does his in his neighborhood. Yeah, so anyway, that's where we are for our July 3rd fireworks celebration. I know you have a big celebration at the church and you get a packed house as well.
I do, yeah, I was gonna make a public statement about that. I talked to you about this in years past. I hate that we do that. I don't want it to seem like we're trying to compete with, the city event, but we didn't start it. The community did.
Yeah,
It just ended up on our property.
sure.
And like, well, if you're gonna come, okay, we'll have a party.
If I
So
wasn't
we do that.
working, I would totally be on your property. I mean, if I wasn't working, there is no way I'd be stuck in that traffic.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
seriously. I mean,
and we get a lot of
it's
people. That's how we get a lot of people.
A long time.
Sometimes the line backs up to our property.
Yeah,
And they just,
Because
oh, let's
they
just
just
let's
call
just check
over.
out the church.
Yeah.
yeah.
Exactly.
If you're not getting there early, you're not getting in.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why I say, we're not worried about competition at all. There is plenty to go around.
And we get packed at the church too.
Yeah.
And-
I mean, we're
But
just,
then the Catholic church is packed. And
Yeah.
I mean, there's
There-
people that's not even in the park. That's.
the more the merrier. I mean, there's
That's great.
truly plenty to go around because we're out of room in the park. We just are. So, yeah, it's a great thing.
Can you
glad we
turn
only
up
do it
the
once a
volume for us, though?
What?
We don't hear it very well, Daddy. Can you turn the volume up this year?
No.
There is no volume anymore.
All right. Anything else for July 3rd?
No,
Do we have any board comments or questions?
I just want to bring up an incident. I brought it to the board the other night, but I was at the amphitheater the other night and it's first concert we've really had since they've legalized marijuana. And I had a few people come up to me and was complaining about, there were some people in the audience who were smoking pot and just thought maybe we need to put some signs up or something reminding people, hey, it's state statute says you can't smoke pot in a public park. So they shouldn't be smoking pot in there, bothering people, so. Just to be where it's more family friendly for people coming to concerts.
So smoking being prohibited isn't on the list of things you can and can't do in the amphitheater?
you can, the only non-smoking park we have is Lions Park. Yeah, Lions Park, because there's so many kids around. And we've had to tell people, put your cigarette out at Lions Park.
All the time.
And we've got signs on every
I think I counted one time. I think we have 19 signs in Lions Park. Well, if you count the stickers,
That's one, we got stickers on the shelters right there.
Wow.
because I wanted to make a
Doesn't-
point to somebody.
So anyway, it doesn't matter to them until you tell them and they get irate and I don't care
Yeah.
in Lions Park, it's kids there.
Yep.
So go buy your car and smoke your cigarette, but cigarette smoke is allowed in the amphitheater. Just in public places, marijuana is not allowed, so we're gonna check into that about getting some signs at the front, so. Anyway. Any other comments?
I would want to tell you, just so you know, something else that's kind of come up at the pickleball complex. We had 2 folks through from Utah this week. And they just Googled Kansas City pickleball and we were the top result.
Oh,
So
That's awesome.
from a SEO standpoint, that's pretty cool.
That's
I'll
great.
take it.
So, yeah, I thought that was pretty neat. And then secondly, I met another couple that was playing with some new players who were up there. And they were just playing together and they're considering moving to Kearney. They are looking at moving back up here from Florida. They want to live someplace with a pickleball complex. We got the best in the city. And they've spent the whole week looking at houses.
I mean, there's a house right next door for sale.
Right? They could just walk there. don't even have to
How
go.
great would it be to have pickleball friendly neighbors there, right?
I want my parents to buy it so bad, it must be a walk from the day.
I'm seeing him walking everywhere.
Has he actually put it out, he was coming, you didn't give a number, has he actually got it up for sale now?
He does.
He does,
Yeah.
yeah.
He had it up there saying coming and.
Coming
for sale.
soon, but it's for sale.
Mhm.
Mm. He waited until the pickleball court was done. Because it was an added bonus.
That's amenity.
Yeah. All right, any other comments? We need a motion to adjourn to Tuesday, July 18th, 2023 for our next meeting. Motion,
I'll make a motion.
second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.
I need your signature